think that ever you intentionally unintentionally that people get intimidated by your voice?
As long as we are out there being activists and questioning the government and questioning the people and questioning the systems, it's great. But the moment a conversation makes us question ourselves is the conversation we don't want. I'm a woman of perspective, not opinions. I have no
Tell me the
opinions
difference
about
between
anything.
it.
A woman can do everything that a man can do. Great, yes, that is true. But who's going to do what women can do?
Do not focus on proving,
Yeah,
focus on improving.
perfect.
Now
Yes.
yeah, lots of women are losing their feminine energy because of the fact that now they have started playing the role of men. Seeking for help is always a I think proof of courage.
Yeah, but again, have you been conditioned to believe that you need help? Both soft and strong.
You are, but there is a no and, right? But somewhere even you're thinking in a form of blessing कि यार शायद दुआ लग जाए, right? There is something you want to
Yeah.
get out of it.
Absolutely. Now we are on the same track. I am giving without receiving. That हाँ, I will give unconditionally. या हो सकता है मुझे कुछ ना मिले. But वहाँ से मिलेगा. The strongest quality of the feminine is not softness, is not nurturing, is not care. Even men can do these things.
अरे चाहिए क्या औरत को? What women want. Hey everyone, I'm Priya Suchdeva, your host at Trending Diary Show. Your journey to get better understanding of the world around you starts now. Today, I am with Ritika Anand, who is an actor, producer, filmmaker, author, and now a podcaster too. We had her prior on the show and you already loved her. This episode is especially for Women's Day, but it's not a typical feminine podcast. I don't want to bore you with all the gyan. In this episode, we have discussed about feminine energy, about different propagandas we as a women sold by, and a lot on love, nurturing. This is a beautiful conversation. You're definitely gonna love it. And before tuning in, make sure you subscribe to our channel because a lot of you who watch this episode, who watch our conversation, did not subscribe us. Your one thumbs up help us empower us to bring more guests, to bring better conversation, and help us to evolve better. Thank you. Now tune in. So today we have Ritika Anand Beck on the podcast
Yeah.
in very new avatar. I hope you guys remember her with the sari and
Yeah.
all those beautiful conversation.
Yeah, my fashion moves in phases.
You moves in phases too.
Yeah, it's how I feel.
This episode I want to keep it centric for the Women's Day.
Yeah.
By the women for the women, right? You
Of
are
the women too.
of the women too. You are someone I always find fearless, bold, someone who knows she has a voice and never fears to speak it out.
Yeah.
Do you think that ever you intentionally unintentionally that people get intimidated by your voice?
Intimidated, yes, that's normal. It's always been the case with me ever since I was a child.
Or that offended someone?
I think I started offending my parents first
Is it?
when I was a little girl, and I used to say things that my mom used to get irritated, like no one can argue with you. I love arguing. She thought I should be a lawyer when I was growing up. She really tried to send me to law school, but I told her, you're going to be wasting your money. So don't do it. Yeah, intimidated is the appropriate word, but more than that, I also think that my voice triggers because truth triggers. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm not attached to my truth. It can change, but if you can convince me, I'm open. Um, but truth is a trigger. So I think trigger is a better word. They do get triggered. A lot of people get triggered and irritated also. But I guess you got to do what you got to do, and then there are those who really appreciate and feel grateful, and I feel grateful for both. As long as you can create movement, as long as you can, if your voice is creating a shift, if it's creating movement, it's creating something, a response, a reaction, sometimes even silence.
That counts.
I think that counts more than
Anything.
reaction and response. It works. It works. I guess I am who I am, I guess. What else to say, right?
In a world, what do you think? The kind of world that, that really celebrates now women with ambition, with dreams, with their careers. Uh, but I personally feel they still get, as you mentioned, triggered. They get threatened by someone who's very outspoken. Once they do it, they get that threatening part. Do you realize that? Do you feel that too?
Yeah. Yeah, I have come to realize over the last maybe more so after my book released, Being Selfish. And I started coming out and speaking. Before that, when it's the written word, it's not that bad. But when I started actually speaking, the word that you used was they get threatened.
Threatened.
Yeah. It was very surprising for me actually when I realized, because
Why
I'm
that
like,
happens? What do you think? What's the reason? Matlab, though now everyone wants their kids, their wives, their women around them to go and be a go-getter, right? But still, when once they do it, I don't
yeah.
know. That
Are
acceptance
you
is still
asking
not
me
there.
why I think they get threatened?
Yeah.
See, when you introduce, you see the truth or you see the different perspective that is outside of the norm, it is threatening because change is threatening. So, when a different perspective is seeded into a community or into the society or into just, the conversation spaces, what lands up happening is that if it's different, if it challenges people to think, the right conversations will always turn you inward, not outward. So, any conversation that turns you inward, you see, we are looking for distraction everywhere, no? Everything outside. Some people look outside for observation, but most people look outside for distraction. कहीं से राहत मिल जाए, थोड़ी सी. Jab, when you're looking at something outside and you're not getting that rahat, you're not getting that relief. Oh, someone is speaking my language. Here, someone is speaking a different language. It challenges you to question
Something
yourself.
that is unfamiliar to them.
Yeah.
Familiar to them, right?
Like I say, outside of popular culture, I don't quite represent the popular culture. Not that I don't understand it, not that I cannot be a part of it. It's easier for me to be a part of the popular culture. I'll be less hated. I'll be more loved. I'll be more embraced. I'll have more friends. I'll have more opportunities. But I walk in truth. That is who I am. You can't change that. So, yes, over the last few years, I have seen that there is threatening. And I think the reason, and I might be totally wrong about this, but I feel that the reason is because it makes people question themselves. As long as we are out there being activists and questioning the government and questioning the people and questioning the systems, it's great. But the moment a conversation makes us question ourselves is the conversation we don't want. But we also can't turn away from it. We keep going back to it, you know? So that's the paradox of life, and life exists in paradoxes. And some of us are able to carry, hold, and express the paradox that life is. Most of us will either choose, most people will either choose one side of the paradox or the other. I have lost my ability to be this way or that way. I see the whole. And the whole includes both, like the entire paradox, both sides of it. So, yeah, I guess I hope that answers your question to a
Indeed.
certain extent.
You are a woman of opinions, right?
Uh, I'm a woman of perspective, not opinions. I have
Tell
no
me the
opinions
difference
about
between
anything.
it.
Opinions would be like I see something and I say, I think this is how it should be. This is my opinion. But perspective is how you see something, seeing something for what it is, seeing something from a different perspective, detaching your own self from it, not having your own beliefs and your own ideologies and your own philosophies. You don't throw that into it. You see things from what it is. And to be a person of perspective, you need to have an open mind, because a person of opinion is very strong. It's going to be, this is my opinion and this is what it's going to be. A person of perspective is open. You can convince me. You can change my perspective. I am open to a change in perspective. I'm not close to it. But
Beautiful. I like this definition of
yeah, but you can't, but it's not a guarantee
the
that you will change.
perspective is something how I, now what I understand from your saying perspective is something that is very yours. That's
Opinion is
Nishita.
very yours.
Is it?
Perspective is very, I guess perspective is also yours.
Yeah. Means opinion is something, as you mentioned, you're rigid
Opinion
on
comes
their
with judgment, I find.
judgment.
Perspective is beyond judgment. You're not judging anything. You're seeing it for what it is and you're speaking it for what it is.
Okay, I'll frame it down in a different way then.
Calling a
You're
spade a
a
spade.
you're a woman of perspective. I'm a woman of perspective.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I do believe that you're a woman of perspective too.
And I when I work in corporate, I see such, I've literally seen such rooms where there are 10 other women men and you are alone there, right? Or maybe with another one women, mostly just 10 other men's. So do you think that in any such situation when where women are into male dominated work culture, definitely you're working into the industry since long, have you ever felt that you have been toned down to share your perspective?
Everywhere. Tell me, where is it not a male dominated industry or male dominated? Everywhere it is male dominated. You're in the podcast industry. I've just stepped into it. How many women are doing this? More men, no?
Right.
Very few women.
Or at least more men are on the glamour side
Yeah, that's
of
true.
it.
I find that it is a male dominated sort of world. It is. And even women today are appreciated through their masculine qualities, and when they can compete with the man in a man's world, when they can stand on equal ground as him, because that is how we are seeing the women's liberation today. A woman can do everything that a man can do. Great, yes, that is true. But who's going to do what women can do? That is getting left behind somewhere and that is getting suppressed. And that is what we are talking about today, right? The suppression of women. It's because the feminine energy is suppressed in both men and women. So, yes, I have been shaped and toned and tried to be shaped and toned in every sphere and space that I have worked in. Um, but I am an extremely difficult person. You cannot control me. I am totally against being controlled. And so ultimately, log hote hain, chhod yaar. Let her be. So, like I said, that is the paradox. I'm open to perspective change, but your perspective has to be something that can actually challenge my perspective. Otherwise, it's just going to be, uh, I'll respond to you.
A very hypothetical question, maybe. What do you think? What a ideal world for women looks like for you?
Ideal world for women.
How
I
it
don't.
should look like, how a man should behave, how a woman should behave. Are there any protocols? Are there anything like, how do you imagine if Ritika wake up the next day and she live in that perfect world for the women, what that world looks like?
I've never really given it a thought because
Yeah,
I don't.
you can
I
take a
live in
pose.
today, but it's a very interesting question. I think I feel that a woman, I mean, a world, not just for women, I think just for people in general, I think that for me, an ideal world will be a world where the feminine energy in both men and women, which is the energy of love, unconditional love, is prevalent and not suppressed. So, what would that entail? Let me explain. That would entail not distorted masculine energy. It would include what I call divine masculine energy, from distorted to divine. A divine masculine is someone who is completely aware of his own inner feminine as well. Um, of course, a place that is safer, more protected. And I think an ideal world for women would be where they are not constantly under this pressure of performing in the world. I find performance pressure futile, because especially for women, because it takes away certain qualities from them that,
Like,
like uh, like the ability to nurture. Yeah, we nurture our projects and stuff, but the way a woman nurtures, or a way a woman can surrender, or a way a woman can feel sort of safe and, free to be her, chanchal self. Women are generally chanchal, like masti hoti hai unme and stuff like that. But I find that that is taken away to a large extent, because there is this proper way of being, you're a woman of status, you need to be like this. You're a woman, you're a wife, you have to be like this. You're a this thing, you have to be like this. And these things are not told to you that you have to be like this. In some of the most liberal homes also, it is in the subconscious. It's inbuilt into your subconscious. So it's just me. I'm not saying this for everyone
yeah,
else, but
that's
you're
your
asking for me.
perspective.
Yeah. My perspective is that a woman, a world where women are not under the constant pressure of performing.
And proving themselves.
Yes, proving
Yeah,
is the word.
proving.
Proving is the right word. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not believe in this culture of proving, because you see, you prove once. I made my last film released in 2020 on Sony Live. We are 2026. I've developed 4 projects, but I've not made anything else. So the general thing is, oh my God, you got to prove. I've proved myself once. I've delivered a successful project, both as a producer and as an actor. I've delivered a successful project. But because I haven't done it for 6 years, you prove yourself once, you have to prove yourself again and again and again. I don't buy into that game. Because if you really take yourself out of it, you will see that, barring the first 2 years after that released, in 2024, in 2023, I started writing my book. 2024, I released a book. 2025, I went through all of these podcasts. I went to TEDx. My fourth TEDx was at IIT, which it takes time. People do their ninth, 10th TEDx at IIT and IIM. I was there in my fourth. So personally, for me, I feel very, like, successful and achieved and things like that. But I don't go out and prove that. So the general consensus is, oh, as a filmmaker, she's a fail. I don't consider, because there is this pressure to consistently prove. I think an ideal world, not just for women, but also for men, for people in general, is a world where you're not pressurized to keep proving yourself. Otherwise, your life just becomes a series of proofs. You've not lived, you've just kept proving yourself. Where is your life?
And you know what? You said it so beautifully. I was at JLF where I had this small interaction with Shri Gaur Gopal Das ji,
Okay, yes.
where something on the similar note I have asked. And he mentioned it so beautifully that, do not focus on proving,
Yeah,
focus on improving.
perfect. Yes, yes.
Once you will shift your focus from proving to improving even 1%, even 0.001%, your life will be much happier.
Yeah,
You will be much happier.
because proving is again what? Outside focused.
Exactly.
Improving is what?
Inner
Inner
focus.
focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
As within,
remind
so
me.
without.
Yeah, just remind me of that conversation.
Well, it's really nice that you compared my answer to.
No, I'll show you that clip. Exactly, he said.
Oh, I'm.
Prove नहीं करना है, improve करना है.
Thank you
साबित
for
किसको करना है?
comparing my answer to someone I actually do listen to and admire.
Indeed. Also, do you think that, I think there's a one tag I often listen whenever, मतलब मेरे को बहुत सुनने को मिलता है whenever I have a conversation with my colleagues or friends or someone that, you're very emotional. Whenever you try to
Too much,
speak
too emotional.
something, you're too emotional. You came out with emotion. There's no logic to it. A lot of time. I don't know. Probably I personally operate from that. I personally operate from intuitions, emotions,
Yeah,
you know
these are feminine traits.
maybe, yeah, but do you think that somehow uh, suppress you in some way,
Priya, I'll
giving
tell.
that tag and just moving out? You're too emotional and you're
Yeah,
overreacting on this.
I get that a lot. And I've always got that. I am an emotional person. I am a very sensitive person. And I don't plan to change that because to me, a person who's emotional, who can express their emotion, is alive. If you're not emoting, as far as I'm concerned, you're dead. You're not alive. Only with your mind, you're a machine. It is through your emotion I connect with, like I'm connecting with you. We are not just connecting on conversation. There are moments in this conversation where we are connecting on, oh yeah, I feel this. Feeling is emotion.
Right.
And Priya, I have been saying this for the last maybe 5 years. I've been saying this consistently. I've been laughed at a lot for saying this. Suppression is suicide, it is slow poison. If an emotional person, every human being has emotions, every human being is emotional.
Right.
Like I'll give you an example. How we say, talked about this in the last session also. How we so there's so much stuff these days, where people are teaching you how to recognize narcissistic patterns and how
Right.
people are narcs and narcissists and stuff. If you ask me, I would say either we are all narcissistic or there is no narcissist. Because what is narcissism? It's the need to be needed, it's an emotion.
Right.
You have a need. I want to be needed in this world. I want to be valued. I want to need,
I want to be
need
validated in one or the other way.
I want to be loved. So this much or this much, this much or this much, everybody is narcissistic. So to me, I do not see anybody as narcissistic. So that's why I get a little bit this thing also that, oh, there are so many men who are narcissistic or women who are narcissistic and they come and use you and they leave. I'm like, I don't see it as being used. I see it as like, we shared a moment. I can't see it that way because I do believe that everybody can shift and change with perspective.
Right.
Perspective shift is growth. So, in the same way, emotion is a very human construct. Not construct, a very human reality. I take that back. It's not a construct, it's a human reality. Narcissism is a construct. It is a propaganda that has been fed to disassociate some people. I find the same thing with mental health today. It's all, I find these things to be propaganda. A lot of these things. I'm not saying mental health does not exist, but all of us are crazy to a certain extent.
Right.
And I think there's so much beauty. That is what makes us, imperfection makes us human. Emotion makes us human. Everything else is like just a machine working. So, yes, I do get tagged, and a lot of women uh, reshape themselves and succumb to this, pressure of, I don't want this tag of too emotional. I want to be someone who,
एक
either a
आजकल
man, like he feels comfortable. If I'm too emotional, वो भाग जाएगा.
नहीं आजकल एक
भागने
नया
दो.
ट्रेंड आया है, I want to be a 10 on 10 baddie. Do you know that trend?
I don't follow trends, but
There's
like, yeah,
a new trend that people have started
I wanted
following, you know.
to be
I want to be a 10 on 10 baddie, which means, you know, I want to be a, I think, how do you say that word?
like I
I don't
want to
want
be
to
a
be
bad girl.
you want to be a bad girl. Like, you
No,
do not want to be care about the others' emotions, and you just want to be in your own
is this a
world.
Gen Z
Delusional
trend?
Adelulu. Yeah, yeah. It's a complete Gen Z
You're a Gen
trend.
Z too.
Yeah, but I do not personally like it.
Okay.
Baddie. Malab. It's good, but ठीक है. But it's all about, you know, now you are suppressing your emotions, that you don't want to care, you don't want to be that sensitive, you don't want to be that nurturing. I don't know. So
Suppression is suicide, and when we suppress emotions, is what are we suppressing? We are suppressing the feminine. The propaganda is working. Sad, but true.
do you think that because of you have mentioned, now you have raised that topic, that feminine part, do you think now the lots of women are losing their feminine energy because of the fact that now, you know, they have started playing the role of men?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Again, you go into the villages and stuff like that, but there it's a different thing. They are suppressed in a different way. They are beaten. I work with a lot of underprivileged people, so I know they're beaten, they're molested, they're used as objects of just producing kids and things like that. So लोअर जगह पे ऐसा होता है बट yes in the general consensus I know that the audience that you're talking for, it is a fact. It is not something of discussion also today. My first blog, when I first started experimenting with writing, I used to write blogs. My first blog was called Can She Be a Woman in a Man's World? And in that, I had shared
I
a
like the
story.
title.
Yeah, Can She Be a Woman in a Man's World? I had shared the story of a Jain Tirthankara. Jains have uh, 24 Tirthankars. Tirthankars means Mahavir was there first. Mahavir was their main. And to become a Tirthankar, what you have to do is, Tirthankar means their God, like they have their Buddha. They have 24 Buddhas, teachers. And to become the Tirthankar, you have to go into meditation and you have to get enlightened, but you have to do it without clothes. You have to surrender clothes. You have to sacrifice. The 24th Tirthankara was a woman called Mallibai. And she was very daring. She was told because Jains say that as long as you are born in a woman's body, you cannot attain enlightenment.
Is it?
You have to first be born. They're already second classing the woman. And even in the spiritual world, it really enraged me. And I was going through my spiritual evolution, my first awakenings then. So I was going through a lot of rage and stuff. This Mallibai, her name was Mallibai, she was so daring. She said, I'm going to challenge this. No one can stop me from going in and
Achieve the
meditate.
enlightenment.
Yeah, it's inside me. I don't need anything outside. She surrendered her clothes. She sat in meditation. She became enlightened. She became the 24th Tirthankara. After she died, they changed her name to um, Mallinath.
Okay.
And you are not going to find a woman's deity in any of the Jain temples. She was turned to a man.
Is it?
Yeah. the 24th, it was very enraging for me. I was like, what? And I was starting my path towards, enlightenment and my own spiritual path. And I was like, I was enraged. If it's not today, it's happening forever. So, what is a woman going to do? She has been conditioned that to be accepted, you have to be just like, men progress, you have to be like that and stuff. I don't buy into these propagandas. Not that I don't work. I'm a leader in the work that I do. I produce my own films. I'm producing my series. I've written my own book. I'm a leader in my life. I lead
You're a
myself.
creator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am a creator. I have no interest in leading the world, but I lead myself. I'm totally working with both my feminine and masculine energies. But do I have this need to prove myself in a man's world? No, I don't feel this need. I'm very comfortable in my feminine energy, right?
Right.
And we talk about supremacy. We talk about all these forms of supremacy. The one that is going maximum unnoticed is this supremacy, where we have, through psychology, generations and generations of psychology, decades of psychology, hundreds and hundreds of years of psychological treatment, we have converted the woman's mind also to a man's mind. It has become like that. Talking about supremacy, I have a friend right here. He I'm sure he's come from Canada. He can tell you a lot about white supremacy and stuff like that. But has it stopped him from growing? No. He is my advisor. If I'm going to do any business, if I'm going to start something, I will go to him. What do you think? What do you think, Brian? Can I do this? Can I do this? I go to him. Does that make me lower
No.
as a woman? No. That makes me smart, intelligent.
Seeking for help is always a, I think, proof of courage.
Yeah, but again, have you been conditioned to believe that you need help? Or have you found yourself that this is what I want? My whole series Pathbreaker is on this.
Tell me more about your series. I've just seen a few videos,
Oh,
which
you
I was,
did?
anyways,
What do you
complimenting you. I
think?
love the production. I love the idea, the way you're literally
Oh,
going to the places.
thank
Love it
you.
already.
Thank
Tell
you
me
so much.
more about like what you really want to do with it.
Actually,
What's the
it's a
purpose?
very simple thing. Every episode takes you to awareness. I'm trying to create awareness. I'm not here, change the world, fight the system, this, that. No. That's again going to take me back into my masculine energy. I don't want to fight, flight, these things. Awareness is what I can do, I can share. So the bottom line is awareness. And travel, it's set in a travel series because travel is my sort of symbolism for the journey of life. And plus, I'm a traveler. I love to travel. I've traveled all my life, and I want to share that traveling is, and I want to express travel as a sort of education. Like it's an opportunity to educate yourself as opposed to just leisure and pleasure. You can actually grow and evolve through people
Best
that you meet.
education, any day.
Yeah,
Travel
travel is.
is the best education.
Yes. So, in that perspective, the series, the idea, what I really would love this series to do is take people back to their own voice amidst the noise of the world. I want them to go back to their own voice. That own voice is going to bring people out of opinion and judgment into perspective.
Right.
It's not done from the perspective of, oh, I'm going to bring these topics and I'm going to challenge the system and that is a byproduct is going to happen.
But I really like the way that you're going to the places
Yeah.
and meeting the somewhere time locals also, chatting with them. So it's wonderful. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be like a plain out like podcast. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to be more meaningful. A lot of who I am is, you know, I often say that, when people ask me, what is your brand value? I'm like, my brand is the common man. I am the common man. Um, my heart goes out to the common man. Um, they need someone to sort of make them aware. All you got to do is make them aware. Rest, they are smart enough. The world is smart enough today. And so the series is literally to take people, and I get people from various different fields, like best-selling authors, actors, dancers,
Musician.
uh, musicians, and doctors, brand specialists from various different fields. And all these fields are connected to, because I have a multifaceted sort of, I'm a multifaceted artist, so I do a lot of things. I'm a writer and a speaker and content creator and all of these things. So I do all of these different things. And I think um, that's why I've met all these people. They are all people that I've met through, various different things that I do. So in this first season, they're all friends, mostly friends, some outside of friends. And if they're not, then, we
They will
spend
become
like
friends,
yeah, we
yeah.
spend 2 nights together. We shoot this and we travel together. And it's not that I'm just going and shooting. I actually invite them and we holiday together. We go and eat together. We discover places. We take some shots of it to put it. And then we just do a 2-3 hour like sit down on a conversation. And that is it. But basically, like we are holidaying together so that we get to know. I'm basically inviting strangers on a holiday with me.
But it's beautiful.
It's so interesting. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how wonderful it is, because you'll never know how it's going to be. You invite a stranger and you holiday with them, and you're like, you never know how that
I mean,
stranger
it's a
is going to.
lifetime memory you're creating,
Yeah,
man.
and you actually create a bond.
You do.
Every single.
Nothing connects you better than travel. Nothing
Yeah.
connects you better than
You stay in the
travel.
same place. You're
Yeah.
waking up and having breakfast. रात को late night तक बातें कर रहे हो. You you've connected. You've formed a bond there. So it's not just what you're seeing in the show. There is a lot more that is happening behind.
You're giving me the courage. Someday I will also step out of the shoot, this room, and do something
Yeah,
creative.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
I went to so many podcasts. I was invited to so many podcasts. I was kind of hell bent that I don't want to do something in a studio. Some of the episodes I have to do in a studio, like with Rajiv, I had to do in Rajiv Khandelwal, I had to do in a studio. Like, where am I going to take him and sit with him somewhere outdoor? Like, bheed ikatti ho jayegi. So I had to do. But apart from that, wherever I could, I've done it in like natural spaces, in real cities and things like that.
Interesting.
And also, I have this deep love, and I have this, well of stories inside of me related to India. I call myself a storyteller of this land. You know, so I have all these ancient stories which are very relevant even today, in terms of health, in terms of progress, in terms of women, all of these various subjects that we talk about, we have roots in ancient India. And the whole process is, I'm also releasing my 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago, I had made a film called Palki, which is on girl child empowerment.
Tell me more about that. What's the whole story? What's that
Yeah,
about?
I'll just come to that. But I've set that in this series as well. Now, idea behind is the rising of feminine energy. Ultimately, we are taking people back to feminine energy regardless of your gender. You have a feminine inside of you, we need to help it rise. So every episode takes you back to that awareness, and all of these are threads. But the bottom line is the bottom line is to take people back to their own voice by challenging the popular
Norms.
the popular
Propagandas.
culture, the normal propagandas. By, see, if I have the ability to see through, or, understand the system, see through the system, that freedom, it gives you freedom. No, oh man, I can see this, thank God. But freedom comes with responsibility. It becomes my responsibility to share that. Not everybody is going to take it, they're going to feel challenged. But there is going to be the odd one, two, three people who are going to be like, I'm going to accept this perspective, or I'm going to, I never thought of it like this.
That's the beauty of a perspective, individual perspective.
As opposed to opinion.
Yeah.
So if we can live in perspective as opposed to opinion, a lot of shift can be created. And this is how I worked throughout my life. Even the work that I've done for like 20 years. I mean, the I Am Palki campaign, the film Palki, started with an I Am Palki campaign. It started with a play. I was 24, 25 years old when I started that. And that is what became the We Women Foundation today, you know. I've been at it the same thing. I've always been trying to find the answer for what is it that feels suppressed inside of me, until I realized it was the feminine energy. And then I realized the feminine energy is suppressed everywhere. Because emotion, don't be vulnerable, don't cry, don't this thing, don't be emotional. Don't, सारी feminine traits को तो हमने दबा दिया. और जब when we become outspoken like me,
And then people get threatened.
more than threatened, then they say become soft. Become soft is control mechanism. When she will become strong, trust, people say trust. I often say, I know a lot of people, recently I did this, you know, Rajiv said this on my show. He said, love is to be not just given, it's also to be earned. I understand his perspective. I don't fully agree with it. Because to me, love is to give unconditionally. Trust is to be earned.
You know what? You said it so beautifully. There are always a conflict statements when it comes to us. You have to share your opinions, but you cannot be so noisy. You have to be strong, but you cannot be
The contradictions.
yeah. You have to be soft, but at the same time you have to be strong, and then you have to go out, go getter, but at the same time you cannot earn more than me, right? Somehow there are
But
always
you
a
know, Priya,
conflicts.
let me share something with you. You can be both soft and strong.
You are, but there is a no and, right? They can that's your
But
decision, that's my decision.
yeah,
Right?
but where the issue starts happening, where the conflict starts coming in, is that in this situation, I have chosen to be soft.
Yeah.
And the response is, oh, in this situation, you should be loud.
Yeah,
In this
exactly.
situation, I have chosen to be outspoken. Oh, you should be soft. I find this whole push towards, oh, be soft, be trusting, be caring, all these things, no, softness, care, nurturing, these are all feminine qualities, not feminine nature. Feminine nature is the nature of the soul, which is love. It is unconditional. And love can express itself in masculine or feminine depending on the situation you're in. If you love, let's say you love someone or you love a child or something, but that child is being abusive to you will have to express your love like tough love. You're going to have to express your love through masculine qualities. At that point in time, you can't just be puchu puchu like a woman, no? Especially if you're a mother or a teacher of that, you know, like I work with children, I know, and I work with some rowdy children. So, like, you know, gang wars and things like that. So, you have to be tough sometimes. मैं हाथ कभी नहीं उठाती. Sometimes you have to be tough. Sometimes you have to, and sometimes it's soft. So, you know, this
So I think
whole,
love is more, it's more than language, it's also intention.
I find love is nature. Intention, yeah. But if your intention is love, your action doesn't matter if it comes out soft or loud.
The intention is love, right? That's what.
Intention manifests, not action. Intention manifests. So if your intention is in the right place, not right or wrong, intention is love. No matter your action. the result will be in alignment with your intention. So, the feminine energy is love. These are qualities. These are
Okay.
all qualities.
So,
So, to me, softness is a quality. Not feminine, not masculine, it is a quality. And strategy is a skill, right? Neither are energies. One is a quality, one is a skill. Now, if you see, in today's world, everything is strategy. A woman in business, she has to respond to strategy with strategy. She needs that skill because when she's met with strategy, how will she respond? She'll be finished if she doesn't know how to respond with strategy. So strategy is an important skill, I find, in today's day and age for working women. At least for working women, women in business, women in corporate, women in entertainment industries, women in these very competitive spaces. Strategy is a skill they need. Softness is a beautiful quality, but again, when let's say when the world is too loud, sometimes you have to become soft to be heard. Softness stands out more. But when you use softness in that way, it ceases to be a quality. It also again becomes strategy. Right? You're understanding what I'm saying? It becomes strategy. So neither of them are feminine energy. Feminine energy is love. The feminine energy has only one nature. And that nature is not just a woman's nature. It is the feminine energy's nature, nature of creation, all creation, which is in a man too. It is love. And love is unconditional. You don't expect anything in return. The moment there is, I give you love because you give me love, it is business. It is strategy. We've gone back to strategy. So to me, feminine energy is neither soft, nor loud, nor strategic, nor non strategic. It is just pure love. And back in the generation today, or you ask me 20 years later, this answer will never change.
I'm curious to know, sorry, this lead me to, to another question. Do you think this thing like unconditional love exists? Matlab,
It is,
matlab,
exists in me.
no, just the human nature and let's say you are doing something consciously, subconsciously, you might expect that,
You
I
get
want to
some.
get a return out of it. Or when you think, probably even if you are doing, definitely you're doing it with good intentions, but somewhere even you're thinking in a form of blessing कि यार शायद दुआ लग जाए, right? There is something you want to
Yeah,
get out of it. अब तो वो
I've understood.
unconditional कैसे हुआ? I do not understand
Yeah.
that unconditional.
Yeah, I will explain to you. Unconditional, it is a natural state. Unconditional love is natural state, but we have lost touch with our natural state. So obviously we cannot think today, I'm going to put energy into something and I'm especially a person or people and I'm not getting anything back. Obviously I'll feel
You'll feel
depleted.
bad, right?
You'll feel
Or
depleted.
probably you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, right?
Yeah, you lose interest, you will feel depleted, you will feel like all your energy is gone but you're not getting replenished.
Right.
That is where meditation, mindfulness, these kind of things come in. I'll tell you why. Mindfulness is थोड़ा सा हटके हो जाता है. मेडिटेशन से क्या होता है, आपका लव का क्वोशंट बढ़ता है अपने आप. इट डज नॉट नीड एन ऑब्जेक्ट. When you can find the source of unconditional love inside, a never ending source of love inside of yourself, the feeling is like being in love only, but there's no object. It's not like you're in love with someone or in love with something. It's just you're in love.
It's just the state.
A lot of people who have gurus and things like that, you will find them, wo malang se hote hain. They always have a smile on their face. They're always oozing this kind of, love. Something is just oozing out of them, a kind of energy. So, no, in the normal sense of the word, you're absolutely right. If you give, you need to receive.
Yeah, मतलब consciously unconsciously you really expect एक बार करोगे, दो बार करोगे, 10 बार करोगे, but एक बार ही वो mind में आएगा यार, I have to
I'm
get
not.
something in
You're
that,
right.
right?
You're
In one
right.
form or the other.
You're right in that sense. But majority of the planet right now is not looking inside, they're looking outside. So the moment, this is something I didn't know. I was also of that thought process, but when I went into meditation deeper and things like that, and when I understood the nature of the soul, which is unconditional love, that's when I recognized that if you are depending on giving love and receiving from outside, then it will be a business. Then you have to run like this. You can't be unconditional. But if you can find the source of never ending love, there is a source. It's like a jharna, it never ends. Inside of yourself, it is source energy. जिसको हम, people call it God, some people call it source, some people call it existence, nature, whatever it is. However you connect, that there's no object, but I live like that. No object of affection. Yeah, I wake up today, oh, I'm feeling in love. That's why I was mocked so much. Now I've been mocked so much because sometimes I'm singing love songs for like in the air. And they're like, what the hell is this? Like over romantic woman. Yeah, there is that feeling of love just happening inside of yourself, no object outside. What happens? Your love never ends. When people like us work with underprivileged children and things like that, you see, we only give, we don't get back the same. Yeah, they love us, oh, we love you, didi, this, that. But they
But
are,
exactly, that's what my
but they're
question is.
just,
You are getting the love, you're getting that care, let's say. Very, very maybe a vague example. People even have the dogs in their house,
yeah,
right?
they love their dog, the dog loves them back.
Definitely, dog is not giving them in terms of a
No,
materialistic thing, right?
but
But
dog is giving love.
exactly, something is given, something you are expecting,
I
that
am
he
not,
will come, he will cuddle me, he will,
Priya, I'm not denying you.
yeah.
That is the normal way to, it has become the normal way to
Yeah,
be.
which is always, it cannot be one way
But I'll
anytime.
never be able to convince you on that until you find that source inside of yourself. When I first started working with these children, there were times I used to sit and think, they are very ungrateful. They're so hungry. Underprivileged they're so hungry. They just want. So I used to keep giving. वापस नहीं मिलता था. But it never used to end. Why? Because I had spent 3 years finding the source of unconditional love inside myself. That is God source energy. Source energy.
But do you think it's good to be an unconditional giver?
I don't live in the concept of good or bad. What works for you? What brings me joy is giving, not receiving. I receive when I give unconditionally, and I don't. Let's say I've chosen to
But
love you.
does it manifest in the other way?
Yes, you got it now. Yeah, so sweet. You got it now, Priya. Oh, I'm so happy I was able to get this across to you. Absolutely. Now we are on the same track. I am giving without receiving. That हाँ I will give unconditionally. या हो सकता है मुझे कुछ ना मिले. But वहाँ से मिलेगा. वहाँ means I am pointing upwards means existence rewards unconditionality, surrender. All the traits that we have suppressed of the feminine. The strongest feminine is a surrendered feminine. I'll give you an example. Recently, I've been talking about this a lot also because recently I've been going deeper into, understanding. I used to talk a lot about Radha and gopis and stuff like that. Now my focus has shifted to Draupadi.
Is it?
Draupadi, after the game of dice, the Chaucer ka game represents the game of, like the game of this world that we
Right.
are all in. We must play the game. And I say, I like to play, but I don't like to play the game. There's a difference. I like to play, like children play, they don't play games. I mean, like psychological
the
game. Yeah.
real games, right.
So now the Chaucer game in Mahabharata is a representation of the Kali Yuga. Just before the Mahabharata, when we were getting
How
into
come?
Kali Yuga, yeah, it is a symbolism of the game of life. Koi jeetta hai, koi harta hai, this, that.
Something is always on the bet.
But, and who, yes. yes, absolutely, you got it. So, and who gets shamed?
Who?
Draupadi. Uske kapde utaro. She became objectified. What was it symbolizing? That in the Kali Yuga, a woman is an object. Tell me. Even when men express, or our loved ones express love to us, हमको वो चीजों वाले नाम नहीं देते प्यार से. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a very sweet thing. They're giving love only. But they're not aware that it is a conditioning
it's conditioning.
that women are, we have been objectified. What women? Even men have been objectified. Today people are objects, you know. Animals have more freedom than people. They have the more identity of, oh, I'm an animal. Human beings are objects today. But the thing is, so
Coming back to Mahabharata.
yeah, Mahabharata में क्या है कि game of Chaucer, game of life. Woman, she was objectified. And what could she do? Itni strong woman, married to 5 men, considered one of the most amoral, not moral or immoral. Normal people call her immoral. But people who actually study the Gita and things like that, they understand she's beyond morality. Not moral, not immoral, she's amoral. So the most, and after Krishna, she's the most amoral character in Mahabharata. In that moment, her husbands cannot do anything. They're sitting in shame. The most, reputed men in the then world are sitting there. Sabha, they're sitting there, and her clothes are being taken off. Why? Because why? There was another reason. She was so gorgeous. She was so beautiful, they say. She was so attractive. Her energy was so attractive that every man wanted to see her naked.
Is it?
That's what they say. I mean, I don't know how true. I was not in the Mahabharata, but I do find this right. For me, it works, this understanding. So now no one said anything. Ab kya kare yaar? They lost her. They lost her. She's the thing that they lost. So now she could not do anything in that time. Such a strong woman. You call me outspoken and stuff like that. You put me in that situation. You're saying you're very strong and all this. You know that. You just said that about me. Put me in a situation like that. What am I going to do? If 10 very strong men come and they want to take off all my clothes, or they want to stone me, or they want to do something to me, what am I going to do, Priya? I can't do anything. I don't have that strength. No, okay, little bit I'll try to do. But ultimately in that moment, I have no other way but to surrender. I'm not saying surrender means to become weak. Surrender means to give your situation to something higher power. That takes care of everything. And it is in her surrender when she said, Hare Krishna, he came. He came. The strongest quality of the feminine is not softness, is not nurturing, is not care. Even men can do these things. The strongest quality that a woman, a feminine energy holds is surrender. The surrendered feminine is a very powerful woman, a very powerful energy, because when she surrenders something higher than the system. So that's why I say I don't fight systems. How can I fight a system? Tell me. What change am I going to create? I can create awareness. I can share. I can help people awaken. I cannot alone go and fight the system.
So what is more dangerous than being silent or standing against the system?
So you mean what is more dangerous, a woman who is silent or a woman who
fights against the system?
Fights or understands the system?
Right. Do you think silence is more powerful?
Both are powerful. I'll tell you why. Both are dangerous, you asked. No, powerful. What dangerous?
Dangerous and powerful. That's the ultimate meaning.
Powerful. Very interesting. A woman who is silent, if she understands the system and she's silent, she is dangerous to the rising of feminine. She is perpetuating the suppression of the feminine by not sharing, by being silent. If she understands the system and she's silent. If she doesn't understand the system and she's silent,
But what's the point of understanding the system when you're silent?
yeah, it's pointless, right? Right. If you understand the system, you must speak.
Yeah.
But there are people who understand the system and they're silent. So that's what I'm saying. If you understand, a person who understands the system will not be silent.
Exactly.
So if you are understand the system and you're silent,
But I guess
then you're
it's the other way. Ones who understand the system, they will be the silent.
no, not necessarily. Let me actually answer this question for you. A woman who is silent, whether she understands the system or not, and she's not trying to understand the system, forget it. Put the system aside. A woman who is silent is dangerous to the rising feminine. She is perpetuating the suppression of the feminine because this feminine needs to speak. She has been suppressed over decades, over thousands and thousands of years since society was formed. So she is dangerous to the rising of the feminine. She's perpetuating the suppression of the feminine. A woman who understands the system is dangerous to the system. But I'll tell you, compared to the woman of faith, neither are dangerous. The woman of faith is the most dangerous, like Draupadi. Why? Because she will not fight the system. She may speak, she knows who she is, she will be confident, but she will not fight the system. She will get to a place where she'll say, I surrender. And when she surrenders, that which is greater than the system. And in my life, this has happened again and again. Every time I have surrendered, मैं बहुत बड़े बड़े पंगे ले लेती हूँ actually. Like I take big things, like I go and challenge some big things, and I've always been like that. I don't realize it. It just comes from naturally. Now I'm not lying to myself. So injustice, when I see, I can't stand. I like to stand up against injustice and things like that. So the most dangerous woman actually is the woman of faith. But faith wrongly has been associated with religion, which is not true. It is a quality, like belief. When you believe something, I believe this. You believe it long enough, you can make it happen, no? That's what they say.
Right.
When you have 100% faith
Over something.
in that existence, that without my involvement is taking care of everything. The birds are flying, they're migrating, air is happening, oxygen is happening, everything, this whole thing. The system is not taking care of this, everything is taking care of this. That which is taking care of it, I'm a part of that. Why will it not take care of me? Why will it not take care of me? I live like this. I'm a woman of faith. I have no belief system. I have no belief system. And so you can say, oh, a person
But
without
everyone
a
have
belief.
beliefs. How can that be?
No,
Everyone can have beliefs.
no.
Why not?
Yeah, because I'm not staunch on it. I can say, oh, I believe you right now. I can say, I believe this in this moment. Tomorrow, that belief might change. People are attached to their beliefs. Not
belief
having a
change.
belief system means not being attached to your beliefs. That's what I mean. When I say not having a belief system.
Because they do change
Yeah,
with the
so it's not a
information,
system.
with the circumstances.
Yeah, so it's not a system for me.
Right.
Like I say, consciousness is not a system. Consciousness is a soul. For me, belief is not a system. Faith is the most powerful thing. It has got nothing to do with religion. A lot of spiritual teachers would tell you, I don't ask, the modern day gurus, they say, I don't ask for faith. It's the most wrong thing they are doing. At least as far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying you have to listen to me. I'm just sharing my perspective. It is the most, faith gives rise to feminine energy. Faith connects, the feminine is more divine. I'm not saying masculine cannot be, but masculine is the mind, no, the body, the outer. The inner in every human being is feminine energy. It is the Kundalini energy. The Kundalini is feminine. The snake. inside of us. We just finished the year of the snake. It is that rising feminine is faith. The most dangerous person, not woman, is a person of faith. And faith has nothing to do with religion. Faith has nothing to do with community or culture. It has nothing to do with something outside of yourself. Faith is just a very undefined feeling inside of yourself, which is, it is a knowing. It is not knowledge, it is knowing. Faith is not knowledge, it is knowing. When we move from belief to faith, we move from knowledge, we drop knowledge, and we move to knowing. Because we connect with the all-knowing existence, universe. It is universal energy. That is the most dangerous woman. A woman who can say, I have so much faith that she can see that ye ho raha hai, this is what the system is doing, and she can stand in front of the system and laugh at its face. Faith makes you fearless.
Because we are talking about the system, another thing that I'm, which is really much in news is Epstein files.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
You tell me about it.
So I'll tell you a little bit of a history of how I got, very, very fascinated by, with the elite and all of this stuff. I was in my 20s, early 20s, when, I had heard about Illuminati and later, they started calling
Do they
it the
really
cabal.
exist? I don't know. Tell me a bit
Well,
more.
I mean, they say I was fascinated by it, and I didn't know whether it's just a phenomena or whether it actually happens. So I started watching documentaries, and I started. I'm a very curious person. So until I get like to the bottom of something, I just keep going deep. So later they were called. Later the name changed to cabal, and then the deep state and things like that. So I went very deep into it, and I found it very fascinating. There was a time when I was like, I hope I get a call from them. But then, I had heard all these, I don't know what happens inside. I cannot comment on what happens, what doesn't happen. But I can certainly, it is very evident that it is only a handful of people. They say the 1% of the top richest people in the world, they run the whole system. The system basically belongs to them. And they do not like individuals. Individuals standing up and stuff, they will suppress. So now how it works, what I found, and I'm not saying this is just the elites and things like that, how the system works, because they've set up the system. How the system works is when they see an individual standing up, using their voice, this, that, which is going against their system, which is exposing the system. The first thing I found, and I could be totally wrong, the first thing is going to, I'm not wrong actually. This I'm saying with conviction, I'm not wrong. Because I faced it many times in different stages and different spaces in my life. मैंने बोला बहुत बड़े बड़े पंगे लेती हूँ मैं. Since I was little. First, they will try to psychologically study you and understand what your needs are, what you're lacking. They will give you that.
So if you content.
In an attempt to buy your voice. When you will, most people will be bought. Most people will say, "Chal yaar, masti karte hain, mil raha hai, kharid lo." Some of us are not for sale. Can't buy my energy, you can't buy my love, you can't buy. Some of us are like that. So those you cannot buy, then they will bribe. Can't buy, bribe karo. So you would bribe. And if you don't get bribed, you don't get bought, then see, unstoppable, can't silence this person. What to do? What to do? We got to kill the credibility of that voice so that no one takes that voice. Kill the credibility. How do you kill the credibility? Pagal karar. Proof. Mental health issues, this, that. And I'm not saying this happens only in one place. And I'm not saying that this has only happened with me once. It has happened with me again and again and again since my college days and even before that. But
इंडिया
before,
की भी एप्स्टाइन फाइल्स है.
अब मुझे नहीं पता. I'm sure यहाँ भी elites तो हर जगह है ना. And they have their own sort of
Jokes.
and their own sort of lives and things like that. At one time, I was very fascinated by it. Now I'm not.
But do you really think so that the very less voices are heard? There's still that are unheard. Whatever we are seeing is just 1% of it in Epstein.
Of course. It's a whole network, since the age of maybe 24, 25, 20, 24, yeah, mid 20s. I've been saying one phrase consistently: save the children, save the children, save the children. Maximum number of missing people in this world across the globe are children. Where are they going, Priya? Where are they going? I'm not saying that it's just pedophiles. I'm not saying that they are just like being used and abused and misused.
But where they're going?
There is also experimentation and this and that. Somewhere I'd heard, I'm not sure if this is true or not, that America actually has like a whole sort of underground country where there is experimentation and stuff like that happening. I cannot say if it's true or not. I used to just get fascinated by these, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I'm older now. Now I don't get into these conspiracy theories. But there is no denying the fact that majority of missing people in this world is children.
Because
And then
they're
women.
more vulnerable, right?
And then women.
No, they're considered to be vulnerable.
Yeah, and then women who are more vulnerable than men. So, and today I'm working with children. Why? My heart is with children. Why? Because I'm seeing it's so easy. Missing children here, missing children there, missing children here, missing children there. Why are we finishing our upcoming generation? And if we can't finish them, we are dumbing them down. What is the reason behind silencing people? What is the reason behind celebrating silence over
The
outspokenness or voice? Silence is strong. Why do we celebrate that? Because it perpetuates. It allows the system to remain hidden and to exploit individuals. They want heard. Why they want heard and why they focus so much on trust? They want the people to trust them. The system wants trust. Why does the system want trust? Because once you trust something, you will never speak against it. You will never speak up against it. And that's why I say love is unconditional. Give it. If you feel like giving love even where you're not getting it back, give it. But don't give your trust. Let your trust truly be earned. I am a woman of faith. My faith is not in people. My faith is in existence. But I do not trust. I do not trust very easily. In fact, it is very difficult to make me trust. Because I can see through everything. I don't see, I see through. And now with meditation and stuff like that, it's become more.
Like in general, I think.
What does trust mean for me? Trust means...
How does it come? Like for me, the trust is.
No, there are people that I trust. There are people who
It's
have...
action over the words. I think what you're doing, your proofs, your evidences, that bare words doesn't matter for me.
Yeah, action over words. And ironically, the paradox, I was just saying why silence. I often say actions speak louder than words, which is already a phrase, but I've added my experience to that. Silence speaks the loudest. What gets my trust is someone who silently is there.
For you.
For me or for whatever's happening, like I don't have to trust someone who's doing something for me also. I trust people who are doing stuff for world also, for the world.
That's what silently they're doing something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the actions.
And when I notice someone, he's silently, this is someone who's
doing things, getting things done.
Is giving the energy, is doing something. Intention. Action can be very wrong of this person, but मुझे intention दिखता है. I hear the things and I read what you've not written. I can read what you've not. I can hear what you're not said. Right? That is what intuition is. You just said intuition. That's what it is. तुम और develop करोगी, तुम्हारे अंदर और ये चीज आएगी. You will be able to read what is not written. You will be able to hear what is not said. It's energy. You'll pick up on energy.
And you know what? There's one not so beautiful part about intuition, that you cannot explain it to people. It's there, you know it, but you cannot explain it. And sometimes this becomes like, how do I say it, right? How do I say it? How do I explain? It's there, you know it.
Don't explain. Just follow it. I tried for many years like a mad woman explaining. I gave up on it. I surrendered. I said, intuition is not here for you to explain. Intuition is here for you to follow.
It's there. You know that.
Just follow your intuition. Don't explain. Express. There's a difference between explanation, justification, and
expression.
Like I share with you before this, before we went, the camera were live, I was sharing with you that my last podcast that I did before I started the Pathbreaker series was Not Just Fact with Hiten. And his topic was very, very interesting, and that's why I said yes. He said that can you explain, he had a bunch of questions where we decoded how to differentiate between a real guru and a social media guru, because today there are so many. And I went and said very honestly what I feel. After that, I started noticing that some of the biggest names, I'm not going to take names because my intention is never to defame
an individual, right?
An individual, or to finish their work or whatever. Everybody is right in their own place. I believe that. Even a criminal is right in their own place. He's here for a reason. Existence has put him there. A balance. The businessman and the environmentalist is the same for me. They are in their own place. They are not, I don't know why they're fighting. They just need to do their job. They don't need to fight with each other. So when I did this, I started noticing some of the biggest names starting to justify. Explain. I'm like, such big people talking about consciousness, talking about calmness, talking about teaching people that you don't need to justify, you don't need to do this. They are coming out and doing this. I'll not lie, I got scared first. I got scared like a little girl. I went into a shell and I was like, what have I done? What have I done? But when that fear subsided in a few days, I realized,
your voice is a power.
Yeah, Ritika, is this? And that's when I really understood that, no, I can't just go out on a limb and just say whatever I want. Yeah, I can. I have to still use my voice. But how can I do it wisely? I can still be honest. I can still be truthful. But how can I make it more meaningful, worthwhile? How can I make it so it actually creates awareness? It actually wakes people up. It actually opens people's eyes. And it actually focuses them from, why are you looking for answers outside, man? So when that happened, that's when I realized, there is a general consensus out there. A lot of people think that I'm an overthinker. I'm not an overthinker. I'm sure he can tell you, I'm like one, my mind is empty most of the time. I'm like one mad woman, like a malang jisko bolte na malang. I'm like that. I'm malang. I'm totally like Meera, Rumi. I'll put on songs, I will sing, I will dance, I will create, I will sit in meditation. I am not a person who likes fights. Actually don't. but I stand by truth. So it looks like that. So there is this general consensus. She's an overthinker. I'm not an overthinker. I'm a deep thinker. There's a difference. To be able to go deep into one thing as opposed to thinking all over the
I
place.
think lots of women are associated with that.
Yes,
And
women are not
They are
overthinkers.
deep thinkers.
They're deep thinkers. You are a deep thinker. That's why you come up with questions like this. I love coming to your podcast. Why? Because I love your questions. A 26-year-old woman coming up with questions like this, yeah, I feel proud to be associated with something like that. No? I feel proud to be like, oh, if I go and it helps her podcast, or if it this thing, I have a good conversation, but at the same time, I'm supporting. Like, I'm coming here not just for me, I'm coming, we're both supporting. Right now, we're both supporting each other, na?
Right.
And I'm not just a filmmaker anymore or an author. Now I'm a fellow podcaster with you, know. So we're part of the same industry, we're supporting each other. So I know this. I see this. Women have been wrongly projected as overthinker.
But they are, I
They're
think,
deep thinkers.
so
There's a
should be
huge
overthinker cross deep
No,
thinkers.
deep thinker. You should start using this now on your Insta and stuff like that.
Last thing I want to end it with, generally ask what is the one trend you want to see in the new world. I'll change it for this feminist special. There is a very common meme that I think a lot of people associate, both the men will associate here, that बहुत popular meme है, अरे चाहिए क्या औरत को? What women want? What do you think? What women want? Quickly.
Oh! I think as far as I'm concerned is dignity and respect. That's all women want.
Uncompromisable.
Uncompromisable. Dignity, self-respect is uncompromisable. No. Yes. Whatever it takes.
Beautiful. And I think I'll add +1 to it. And I'm so excited. What are the more episodes you're going to bring in Pathbreaker? As I mentioned, I'm already loving the show. I'm already loving the production, the kind of conversation you're having. And you should watch it too. I'll just put the link here. Super excited what you're going to bring. You're inspiring me to get out the studio room sometime. So thank you.
Or maybe we can collaborate on one episode or like once.
And I love that Rajasthan look that you bring, yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would also I would also like to invite. I'm not going to invite. I welcome all your guests. Your viewers also. It's on YouTube. Please do subscribe, do watch. It's called The Pathbreaker. Just Pathbreaker, and something different I've tried to do.
You're definitely gonna love it, especially if you're someone who loves cinematic, if you love raw conversations. It's good. It's food. It's travel.
And it comes with a film, Palki, which I was going to tell you a little bit about, which we forgot. But I'll just tell you a small thing. It's Piyush Mishra is in there playing my father. I'm playing Palki. It's set in a village in Punjab, and this story is about the abandoned brides of India.
It's already live? It's already
in the next few days it's going live. So now, it's the whole phenomena of Pardesi Aya, Shadi Karke Chala Gaya, they sell, they take the dowry, and then they never come back to take her. So there are many women like this who have been displaced and stuff like that. So that is what this film is about, where we are offering a solution of education and skill development. But since I made that movie to like We Women Now, the work that I'm doing, my own understanding of women empowerment has hugely evolved. It is no more about women. I am very, very clear about the fact that men play an equal role in this conversation, and they need to be a part of this conversation because they too carry the feminine energy. So now for me the whole focus has shifted from women empowerment, empowering the woman or the girl child, to raising the feminine energy in all people. Because if we need to see any shift outside, it's not going to happen by activism and by trying to you can't fight the system. The way is to turn inward. When the feminine energy rises in the population, regardless of gender, inside, the outside, as within, so without, is bound to happen.
I like your perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you
Because
so
you're
much.
a woman of perspective, right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for having me. Loved it thoroughly.
It's always pleasure. It's always, I don't know, your energy is so contagious. I have
Oh
mentioned
wow,
that
contagious!
also.
I like that.
It's
I like
good.
the sound of that.
It's good. And I love your expressions.
Oh yeah. The actor in
The
me.
actor in you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They are big expressions. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to the episode till last. I hope you really liked it, and make sure